Today we're going to talk about the SMSL speaker. I call it the SMSL speaker because I don't know how to pronounce the name. Tabebuia. Anyway, a while ago, Hi-Fi Express reached out to me asking if I'll be interested in reviewing this speaker. Now in my head I'm like, 500 USD. You know, there's so many options out there. ELAC, Klipsch, Wafdale, and so forth. You better be so amazing, else you won't have a chance in this competitive market. Now, the reason why I say yes is because SMSL recently, I got a chance to try their DAC, and I was telling myself, if they spend the same amount of energy building this speaker as much as they did with their DAC, then this speaker should be worth a conversation. Before I reviewed the speaker, I went online and I tried to look for reviews and say, hey, what do people think about it? There's zero information on it. The only thing that caught my attention was that somebody mentioned, by the way, if you look at the drivers and the tweeters, they're from Wavecore. And if you start adding the components, they're about $200-300. And that caught my attention. For a company to be profitable, they have to sell it about 6 to 10 times the price. So $200-300 means that you're looking at close to $2,000. That's how much the speaker should be selling on the market to be profitable for the company. Even if we use the rule, like say 6 times, you're still looking about $1,000 too. And yet, this is 500 USD. Still not cheap, right? Because you're still competing with all the famous speakers out there. Now, obviously, if I'm making a video on the speaker, there's something good about it that's worth a conversation. All right, so let's talk about it today. Thanks to Hi-Fi Express, this video is made possible because of them. They sent me this unit to review. So any one of you who are interested to purchase this after the video, go check them out. I'll include the non-affiliated link in the description box. So the first thing I noticed with the speaker is that it's really small. When I took it out of the box, I was like, oh my goodness, this feels like a toy. It's so light, I can hold it in one hand. Am I gonna get any bass from this thing? Uses for 4.5-inch woofer, a 1-inch tweeter. It does have a bass port. And the speaker is so small that the spikes looks disproportionately huge compared to it. I thought it was really cute. Now, the second thing I noticed is that they're heavily promoting the tweeter on it, Wavecore. It's a 1-inch silk tweeter housed inside a waveguard. And I think the reason why is because they want to let us know that they're not using garbage tweeter in their speaker. Wavecore, they sent me some info. They say, yeah, this company, they do make drivers that are used in higher end speakers. So, you know, there's a bit of a name to it. Finally, the cabinet, there's a bit of shape to it. It's not like a square box. And that I really appreciate. I wonder if they designed it that way to deal with standing waves inside. Now, fortunately, the speaker sounds good. So let's talk about the top end extension. It is extended, not hyper detail, but just detail enough. Not sibling, not sharp, easy to listen to. See, over the years, I've tried many speakers that use a silk dome tweeter. Some of them, you can tell that the top end is tilted up, but it's not as detailed as I hope it would. There is a certain density that's needed. And I noticed that whenever I listen to, let's say, more vintage speaker than new speakers, that's where I go like, okay, this sounds more like the modern tweeters, where there's a lot of information in it, and it doesn't need to tilt up the treble to achieve that. So the tweeter configuration, I think, is really good because it blends well with the mid-range, which is its strength. Usually when I listen to speaker with soft dome tweeter, there's a certain roundness and sweetness to it. And this speaker does have that. The first thing that caught my attention is that it reminds me of my PMC DB1. The mid-range is clear, it's clean. There's a certain warmth to the mid-range, and I like it because I'm more of a vocal guy. Most of the music I listen is vocal. Like, yes, I do listen to orchestra sometimes, jazz, but most of my time is spent on vocal. And for me, the mid-range on this sounds great. There's a sweetness to it. Now, when it comes to bass is adequate. So Don't expect it to go like boom, boom, boom. It's going to shake your room. No, it's not that kind of speaker. So if you're somebody who wants bass, then yeah, I'm going to tell you right now, see you later next time. If you want speakers that are dynamic, yeah, okay, I'll see you again next time. It's not about that. Let's move on to why you should consider this speaker. Now, to help me evaluate this speaker, I reached out to Frederick. He's somebody who uses speakers on his desk. He's more of a headphone guy, actually. I couldn't ask anybody else because none of them use speakers near field. You see, the key with these SMSL speakers is that they're great for near field. Now, I don't know if SMSL intentionally did it this way, but in a room like this, 13 by 19, I'm telling you, man, just go get something else. ELAC, KEF, whatever. But near field, this is where it's good enough that it's actually quite close to my PMC DB1 Gold. Now, the PMC DB1 Gold is more extended on top, more refined, more bass because of the transmission line. But when it comes to stereo imaging, instrument separation, creating that soundstage near field, this can keep up pretty close to the DB1, if not on par. And the PMC DB1 is 3 times its price. Yes, you do give up a bit of bass, you give up a bit of top-end extension, you do. But it's not that bad if you think about it, for what you're giving up and how much you're paying. Because, think about it, okay? Bass, one thing I noticed with it is that, you know, I used it for a while and one day I decided, okay, it's time to try a different speaker. The other speaker I tried have tremendous bass. And the first thing I noticed is that, yeah, it sounds amazing, but I don't know if I want to sit 4 hours in front of my computers with tremendous bass hitting me. The non-intrusive nature of the speaker, SMSL speaker, is actually its strength. You might not appreciate the first second when you use it on your desk. It's like, man, I wish I got boom, boom, boom. But as you sit for long session, you'll find that actually it's a great balance because it has just enough bass. If you want more, add a subwoofer. It doesn't feel like a tin can. That's the key here. So for some of you who are looking for a near field solution, who wants sweetness in the mid-range, who wants a fantastic soundstage, this is a solution. And it is, as I mentioned, good enough to challenge the higher end ones. Not overall, but certain portion of it can do it. As I said, I don't know if SMSL was going for that intentionally or not. I would say bravo, because if you're going to come into this speaker world, you better do something so amazing that it's worth my attention. All right, so what about the negative? First, it's a speaker from China. So what happens if it breaks on you? How does the warranty work? Make sure you ask Hi-Fi Express to clarify that before you consider it. Second, the placement, you need to play a little bit with it. Frederick, when he first got it, he was not impressed until he raised the speaker a bit higher. The reason is because his monitor is a bit higher than normal. And he told me only once he raised the speaker, that's when the soundstage magic happened for him. Third, the last thing is the bass. As I mentioned, this is not a bass-heavy speaker. It is adequate. It doesn't sound like a tin can. But if you're buying this speaker thinking that you're going to get good bass, you'll be very disappointed. Okay? So these 3 things are very important. So let's wrap it up at this point. Now, I'm sure a lot of you are curious. Thomas, how does this compare to the Sound Artist LS35A that's really good for near field? I don't know. I didn't try it, I didn't A/B test it, so I don't know. Now, over the years, I get a lot of emails. And one question I get asked from time to time is, how does it perform near field? You see, when we talk about any speaker, the Wafdale, the Klipsch, the Triangle Bro 3, as much as we say it is a fantastic speaker, a lot of times, at least I test it in an environment like this, okay? But a lot of people who bought these speakers in real life use it on their desk. And that's how it is. So my evaluation of those speakers is meaningless for those of you who use it on their desk. And that's the reality of it. So that's why I get people asking me, how come there's no soundstage? I'm like, pull out the speakers. And then they go, whoa, what the hell just happened? There's magic now, there's death in the soundstage. Yeah, but so what? Yeah, it's not like every time you're going to listen on your desk, you're going to pull out the speakers and sit all the way back. That's just not how it works. So that's why for me, the SMSL, I'm glad that I got a chance to try it because it is a solution for some of you. And not all of you want that intrusive speaker on your desk that's blasting bass in your face 6 hours a day. This speaker is very polite. It disappears. Good for somebody like me who's a bit older. Maybe when I was in my teenager years, yeah, I want that boom, boom, boom. Sure, it doesn't impress me the first few minutes, but as I sit through the whole day and I reflect back, after the day, I'm like, yeah, actually it was an enjoyable experience. The speakers did not bother me, and it sounded great. So with that, I'll see you next time.
I never think, I never know. I'm stuck and left alone. I've been lost, I've been fine. My cause is not defined. Won't you kiss me? Won't you play? Won't you draw me? Ain't no way I could deny you, I could stray. Won't you kiss me? Ain't no way. Won't you? Come and draw me now, so come and try me now. I never